What is going on, guys? This is the MMA Complex. My name is Josh.
And I'm James.
And we are back. We are back, motherfuckers. After a long break.
I think it was only a week.
Was it 2?
Really?
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks.
Sorry, I messed up.
No, man. It's just, we do it when we can. Shit happens. We got, I was busy as fuck, too. But we are back. Not brought to you by Kirin Ichiban Beer.
Yeah, it's pretty. I'm not a big fan of light beer, but this is really, really tasty. So if you guys want to go out of your element, this is beer to drink.
It's Japanese. $15. It was 24-pack, $15 at Costco.
It's like, has like a refreshing taste. I know it's freaking cheap.
It does. And then when it's cold, it's great. We just got done with an earthquake.
Yeah.
A 7.1 earthquake over near Bakersfield. Saw some video right now. I guess the UFC Hall of Fame ceremony was going on right now, so it interrupted, I think, Rashad Evans' introduction speech.
That sucked. That sucked.
Yeah. But they got a little bit of it, but it wasn't bad. It was just we were having a conversation while it was going on, in our living room over here, and it was it was interesting.
Yeah, it was
3 in the last 2 days.
Yeah, it was
24
crazy.
hours actually.
Yeah, and this one lasted quite a few times.
Yeah.
I mean, a long time. Most people would just go under a table or try to get away from the situation. But we were just sitting down, kind of enjoying it and just talking the whole time.
Yeah,
it didn't even faze us at all.
Yeah,
but it was at least a minute, right? It felt like a long time.
It was at least a 40 second, 50 second, almost a minute kind of earthquake. It went on for a long time. A good while. Yesterday we had a 6.4, and then today in the morning we had a 5.3, and then right now it's a 7.1.
And so all these aftershocks are stemming from that one earthquake?
I think from yesterday's. Yeah, from yesterday. So it was pretty bad. I mean, but it was. I don't remember the last time I felt like an actual earthquake.
I know, me neither. It's been years.
Yeah, it's been years, and I think every other one we've had, I've either slept through it or I've been in a building that's it's big, so where you don't really feel the ground shake too much. It was just like,
I think the one I really remember where it hit hard was Northridge.
Yeah,
I think 94. 95?
That was 94.
Because that one, I'll never forget this. I was gonna go to an event to meet the Power Rangers.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was so excited to meet the Green Ranger and Kimberly, who was who I think was everyone's crush.
Because this
was growing up watching the Power Rangers.
This was the earthquake. The earthquake happened at their peak, at the peak of Power Rangers, and it was fairly early in the morning too.
Yeah. So I was so excited. I couldn't even sleep the night before. I've always dreamed about meeting Kimberly, every boy's crush.
Yeah.
And then that damn earthquake.
Yeah.
Messed everything up.
Yeah. It was pretty devastating.
Yeah.
For the most part. Yeah. I remember it. I remember it was still the sun was barely coming out. I remember the family, some of my family members who were living with us at the time. I had aunts and uncles still living in the house, and everybody came to the living room. I remember the newscaster, who I think is still on the news today, if not, I don't know. But they were you could tell they had just woken up. Some of them, they were had bags under their eyes.
Yeah.
They were and it was.
It's one that I'll never forget because
it woke people up, for sure.
It's one that I'll never forget because of the Power Ranger thing.
Yeah.
God damn it!
I just remember I remember the devastation. I remember the freeways. I remember all being broken down. I remember businesses being on fire, and I remember I didn't really get to see a whole lot of that, but I remember being in that. I will never forget where I was, and then I remember my family running into the room. So I was around 10 years old, somewhere around there at that time. So
yeah,
we haven't had anything like that since. I think
people major like that where I can feel something.
And people I know are always worried about earthquakes when they come to California, and it's one of the things that people worry about. But honestly, that was the strongest one I think we've had in a very long time that we felt.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just happened too. So this is a Thursday night. It is the 5th. Oh no, Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night. Yeah,
Friday night. Jesus, it's the 5th. Good shit though. So we took 2 weeks off. You know, things happen, so we're glad to be back. Lots happened. We'll talk about a little bit about at least a little bit about the fights. I know people are pretty much over the Ngannou and JDS fights by now. The Pauly and Arden Labov fight by now. We missed those kind of that coverage. Um, but just a little bit on that card because that just happened last weekend. A few things to take away from that card. You had Joseph Benavidez defeating Jussier Formiga by TKO, second round. Looked fantastic. Um, really putting on, making a statement for a title shot, or at least an interim title shot. This actually should have been an interim title shot because I know Henry.
He just had surgery.
He just had surgery, and then you have two division belts. I mean, which one? What are you going to do now? You know what I mean? I hate it when this happens. This is why this is a bad idea to do two division titles. Is the argument against it is because
it holds
the hold up,
division.
and then like you go and get a surgery like right after you just won two division titles, and you're out to the end of the year, and then you're forcing the company to make interim titles, and then you're just like it's just clogging the division. So I don't know what Benavidez is going to do at this point, but he looked amazing, and really put on a show, made a statement. So Jussier Formiga was like a number second or third in the rankings. So who is Benavidez going to go next? It's like you make an interim title against someone lower than Jussier Formiga, and then you wait.
I mean, they're
for Henry Cejudo. They're
going to have to do that.
They're going to have to do that, right?
But yeah, Benavidez is like a monster. Like those body shots, and he when he hit, I mean, like you can tell the guy is super strong. He was putting it to it, man, and it's unfortunate, I think, because Benavidez is always going to be like that groomsman that's never going to be a groom himself.
Yeah,
like he'll never be that champion.
Yeah. We never know because Benavidez did pick up a win
over Henry Cejudo.
Back in a couple of years ago.
But if he does fail, then I'd be kind of
then
bad for him. But
crack at title shots would probably be the last one.
I think having Henry as champion is the best case scenario for Benavidez, and that'll be. And at this point, I probably lean towards Benavidez again.
Yeah, it'll be competitive. I think it'll be very competitive, much like the first. I think this is the best case scenario for Benavidez because losing two to Demetrius, you don't want to lose another one to him. So this is probably the best case scenario. You have a win over the current champ. Mm-hmm. If you get another crack at the title, you could probably even run it again for a third. You have an argument there. Let's say you lose this one, you make your way, get a couple victories, and then you gotta, or if the second one's close, you got a case for a third one.
Yeah, and another thing about like going back to what you're saying about people fighting Benavidez other than the champion. Yeah. I mean, the UFC, they really didn't have 125ers left. They got rid of a lot of them.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to play either that waiting game or rematch with the leader of 5 or 6 guys that are left in the division.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bad
situation
slim for Benavidez.
Yeah, it's slim pickings for sure. And then Francis Ngannou defeating Junior Dos Santos, TKO punches in the first round. It was, I would have to admit, JDS looked good for the 71 seconds that he was fighting in that fight. He looked good.
He did. I mean, I thought that JDS boxing would come into a play in this fight.
His leg kicks?
And he was adding some good ones in the beginning of the fight. But when Ngannou hits you, you're going to go down.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are.
I was talking about this with somebody else. Like, why don't more fighters? I know it's hard to, in the moment when you're getting punched in the face, but you got certain guys like a Tony Ferguson and a couple others that will, when they get into any danger, they clipped. Their instinct is to like roll, jump out of the way, do whatever the hell you can just to avoid any other further shots. And I don't know why some fighters don't do that. Maybe they're just not as confident to be on the ground because, like, if JDS got clipped and automatically was like at least did a roll and went on his back and like played the whole little footsie thing, Ngannou's not going to go down on the ground with him.
No, and Ngannou's not great on the ground either.
No,
I
no.
think JDS is a superior
That would have been
grappler.
great for JDS. Get his mind back. You know,
But I think it just proves to you that how hard
yeah, how hard he
Ngannou
hits.
hits.
Yeah,
Because you watch JDS get clipped. It didn't look like a hard punch, but he wasn't even aware
no,
of his surroundings.
no. After those couple of first like really solid
Just that
shots,
one shot
just
dropped
that
him,
one
and
shot.
he didn't know where he was.
Yeah, but then you know what he put himself in that position. He did like a haymaker. Like a Hail Mary overhand right. Got himself off balance. Got clipped.
I think
So,
when he was landing those leg shots, it kind of gave him some false confidence that
yeah.
he can move into Ngannou's range and
But if you get a really good, big, talented, like striker in heavyweight that can throw some really solid leg kicks, you can do some damage on Ngannou because that guy goes forward,
mm-hmm.
leaves his lead leg out, and doesn't take leg kicks very
No,
well.
no. I mean, if CP gets past DC, there's no way Ngannou's gonna beat CP
I don't know.
because
I doubt it.
Stipe took some hard shots from Ngannou and didn't go down.
Yeah,
He got rocked, but he didn't go down
yeah.
like most fighters went down. And I think that Stipe installed this fear in Ngannou
Mm-hmm.
that when he fights him again, he's gonna be timid like we saw him against um, uh,
Curtis Blades.
the Black Beast,
Oh, Derek Lewis.
Derek Lewis.
Yeah,
He's gonna be gun shy.
yeah. That's true. Even like at this point, it's a rejuvenated Francis Ngannou.
Three in a row.
Yeah, three in a row. He came back after a tough loss and then some.
He
Some
knocked out Curtis Blades.
yeah.
He knocked out Cain Velasquez, and now JDS.
JDS.
I mean,
He's pretty much got. He has a winner.
aligned.
It's the winner of Stipe and DC for him.
Yeah, guaranteed.
And I love to see either one of those. I think those would be both great matchups. Very interesting. I won't count him out in either one of those. Um, I think he has his best shot at beating DC in heavyweight because he's so much bigger, and DC's a little bit slower. Um, but DC's still DC. But DC looked bigger this time around at the face-off against Stipe.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah,
did he look a lot bigger?
yeah, he looked stocky.
He did. He looked a lot more filled out. But that was last week's card. That was a great card. Eric Anders picking up a win. Maurice Green picking up a win. Much needed win for those guys. This weekend is UFC 239, and it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a really good card.
I'm so excited.
Last week, I just want to talk about the bare knuckle. Did you catch any of the bare knuckle?
Yeah, I saw the main event in full.
Yeah, that whole weekend was pretty good because they had like each fight ended into the went into the next. Like I watched I think Bellator instead of the main fights in the prelims for the Dos Santos card, and then once Bellator was over, went into UFC, and then when UFC was over, went into bare knuckle. It was like bam, 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 bam all day.
Yeah, I do remember watching Bellator, and then I was.
Or what card was that? That was that card, right?
Yeah, and then I just watched the main event for the bare knuckle UFC.
Well, bare knuckle FC had estimated it wasn't really that great. 18,000 buys on their website.
Kind of glad,
right? I don't know. I mean,
it's just hard to like that promotion when you have a promoter. He's like a complete douchebag. I don't know.
That and when people are streaming illegally streaming UFC and they're barely getting what they normally would get. They're not even actually coming close to what they did in the past, but they're struggling in terms of pay-per-view buys and viewers on their actual main platforms. You can imagine what like a bare knuckle would do.
Yeah,
it's like a fraction of what they would have. Like.
And I don't think that the bare knuckle FC were monitoring the illegal stream.
No,
like the UFC does with theirs.
No, And you know for sure most people who watched that bare knuckle
I
watched
did.
illegally.
Hell yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did too. That's just the world we live in now. It's like I
It,
you need to make it free,
yeah.
or people are just
Or
gonna stream that
yeah.
illegally stream that
I
shit.
I just find it hard for me to cough up $80 of my hard earned money for
Yeah,
something that's gonna be under 3 hours, and you don't know how the outcomes or who's gonna be
like
injured or
I get it if you have a big party or if you're at watching it
that's
like at a
different.
like you're
Bro,
the restaurant putting it on.
with the guys like us who just sit around just for
Yeah, I'm
enjoyment.
usually doing something. I got something to do, or like I'm like I'm gonna be at home. I'll just
Yeah, like
I'll
tomorrow I'll
find a
be
site. I'll find a stream. It's
yeah.
just how the world
After
works now, man.
after we watch Spider Man, I'm just gonna go to back to my girlfriend's house and she'll throw a movie on and I'll have Periscope and I'll be watching the fights.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I
And
usually
UFC knows
do.
about Periscope. I know that's one of their main things they like to go on is Periscope. But honestly, there's a million and other one sites and
Yeah.
streams than other than Periscope that you
I
can
just
go
like
on.
Periscope because the guy that I follow, he has a pretty good setup.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just the world we work in. That doesn't surprise me in terms of 18,000 buys. That's actually pretty good for them. And I think it was about I'm not sure what the cost was, but
You're right. It's surprising. I think it's like
yeah,
it was probably 1995.
yeah, somewhere around there. But I don't know, man. It was it's just when you're putting fights behind paywalls and you're forcing people to buy at an expensive price of like you know $80 for HD.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, it's like it's no one's gonna do that. No one, not nowadays. Not
No,
nowadays. No.
no. Uh,
Um, yeah.
yeah.
This weekend though, great card, man. Great,
Oh, I'm
great,
so excited for this card.
great card.
The main card.
Yeah, Dos Santos versus Jones. Oh, no, which one did you knock over? Bret Hart or did you knock over
I know,
Vegeta?
Brett.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Brett.
We have new additions to the studio here.
A new figurine for our set. Bret the Hitman Hart. Josh and
Hmm.
I are big Bret Hart fans. I love him. I'm actually watching
This is a gift.
his time. Yeah, it's this guy at work, Cole. He's a big pro wrestling guy. He always talks to me. He's one of those guys who thinks that pro wrestling is real,
Yeah.
and I can't always make fun of him.
It's real, goddamn it. It's really
Yeah,
me.
he's like he does a DX impression. He does the Razor Ramon impression, and I'm like, dude, like, how old are you, man? You're freaking lame. He came one day and he brought me this Bret Hart doll. He knew I liked Bret Hart, so thanks, Cole, and we're gonna put this in good use in their set. So, shout out to Cole. Wrestling's fake, fucker.
But you're a big wrestling fan, so it's funny, you know.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
he's like super,
he's super in it. You know, like
super into it. There's
I
different
watch
levels.
it.
There's levels to this game.
Yeah, I mean, I watch it like how people like movies. Movies are fake, man. I
Yeah.
watch it for entertainment.
Yeah. Oh, we got Goku too. We got Goku.
Oh yeah,
This is a big addition. Super Saiyan Goku.
huge.
Nice. Yeah, 239, man. Who else do we have on this? This is a good card. Prelims are like whatever.
I think from the main card. I think Diego Sanchez and Kiesa kick off the night on the main card.
Yeah. Prelims are like, Claudia Gadelia versus Randa Marcos, I'm interested in. Alejandra Perez versus Sonia Dong. You have Arnold Allen versus Gilbert Melendez. And then the main card, kicking off the main card, Michael Chiesa versus Diego Sanchez. This is, it's not getting a lot of buzz, but Diego is making it very interesting.
Yeah,
Like always,
he's cutting his wrestling
he's-
promos, man.
Yeah, he's working hard cutting those promos. I don't know if you watched. I suggest you go watch Ariel's interview with Diego at the pre-fight press conference or pre-fight press scrum. Great stuff, man. Diego, a 16-minute interview was just gold, pure gold.
You're right, because before that, I wasn't really. I mean, I was into the fight.
Not even
but
thinking about that fight. Yeah,
I'm pumped up for that fight now.
yeah. Diego just leaving Jackson's too. Just left Jackson's. Is off on his own. Took a couple of those Jackson, coaches and people that he usually works with. Took him with him. He's on his own now. He thinks he's a lone wolf at this point. He hasn't found a camp or to call his home just yet. But he's doing this all on his own. It's a big move for him. He's one of the most. He's literally the OG of Jackson's. and just didn't feel like he was getting the love. And he even defended Jackson's against when Cowboy left.
Mm.
And I think at this point he just started seeing the same kind of like disrespect. He said that one of the examples he brought up was that he texted Jackson, let's go over this. If you can go over, how many guys, if you guys can help me go over this for this camp or whatever. They never returned his call or his text. And he ended up seeing some of them on like embeds and stuff like that. And it's just like he felt like disrespected. He's like,
Oh yeah, I would probably felt the same way.
And it's just like, yeah, he just called it a day. And he's like, and everybody has to transition to Winklejohn's style of coaching and his style of striking. And he's like, that's not my style. That's not who I am. I don't fight from the outside. I go in. I'm that's not me. So it's like I gotta get
It's
out.
good for him.
A lot of controversy coming from Jackson's. A lot of it directed towards Winklejohn. There's something there, And Holly Holm, I know, came out defending Jackson's and Winklejohn, but you're Holly Holm.
Yeah, of course he's gonna do that.
You're getting the love. That's your main coach who brought you up
I think John Jones and Holly Holm will probably be
the I'm sure you guys are getting all the support you need.
Yeah.
And Winklejohn's been your guy since like you're in fucking boxing teens. You know what I mean? So, of course, you're not going to say anything bad, but think about everybody else. I guarantee you they're not getting the same love that you are, same treatment.
I agree.
So, I didn't, she came out defending them and put her heart out, but, it's not, sorry, Holly, it's not the same shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Jan Blachowicz against Luke Rockhold. Luke Rockhold's light heavyweight debut, looking big, looking strong. I don't know if you've seen him in the embedded.
I did.
He's looking big, man.
I like Luke Rockhold in the 205. I think he's going to make a lot of noise. I think if he gets past this fight, I think him and John Jones will be an interesting fight.
Yeah.
I still favor heavily John Jones.
I still favor heavily John Jones.
But the leading up to the fight would be really, really interesting.
This will be a test for Rockhold to see where he's at, because he can look good, he can feel good, he can say all the right things, but, if, we'll see if middleweight, his time in middleweight is really reflective of where he's at in his career, because if he's has a bad showing, it could be true what we're seeing the end of Luke Rockhold's dominance and his ability to maintain top level status. It happens to everybody, and is it maybe his time at middleweight, maybe it was chalked up to him being over the division, the weight cut, just bad circumstances in terms of outcomes of fights and shit happens.
There's definitely question marks coming to this fight.
You had the loss against Yoel Romero, you had the loss against Michael Bisping, but you picked up a couple wins in between. But it wasn't the best couple of fights. Probably like 2-2, 1-3. We'll see how it goes. This is a big test for him. Obviously, Jan Blachowicz is going to bring it. Yeah, it's not the most dangerous opponent, but it's going to test him. Yep. So it'll be interesting to see where he's at. Ben Askren versus Jorge Masvidal is probably my fight of the night.
I can't wait for that fight.
Jesus. I honestly, I thought Masvidal was going to do a little bit more talking, but he kind of saved it for fight week. This fight almost kind of flew under the radar. If it wasn't for fight week, they kind of picked it up in fight week. Mm-hmm. I don't know where to go on this one. The size difference is they're fairly even in size. They're fairly even in body type, almost. You know what I mean? They're not neither one of them is heavily muscular. Masvidal is probably more well-rounded, but Ben Askren has that high-level chain wrestling. Mm-hmm. I don't know where you go on this one. I don't know, like this one's very interesting.
I think if Jorge needs to win the first couple rounds, at least the first, or at least hit him with a hard punch.
Yeah.
And then, but he's not want to play the wrestling game because he'll lose.
Yeah. And then like Masvidal looking good, this is probably the most attention and the most praise he's gotten in his career probably ever. I think it's well deserved. Ben Askren is getting a lot of criticism, a lot of heat from his competitors and from fans.
I love Ben Askren. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, I do too.
He's great.
I do too. This is a big test. Every fight for him is literally just a big test for him. It's everything's on the line because if he loses, it's gonna be so much hate going towards him, and it's all. I mean, it's all
And he's really
his
popular. I
doing.
mean, it's working because, like, you look at his views on YouTube, it's over 1 million.
Yeah,
each video.
super popular. People want to see him. Um,
They care about him.
yeah, Masvidal looks good. Ben Askren looks good. I'm interested in this fight. This one excites me. Amanda Nunes, Holly Holm. I mean, I don't know what you want to say about this fight. If Amanda defeats Holly Holm, she's basically beaten every top level fighter in her generation. Like this,
I mean, you could arguably call her the greatest of ever right now.
she'll be necessarily. She's the greatest of all time right now. She just cements it.
Yeah,
She takes out Holly Holm.
yeah. I don't know. I'm going back and forth on this fight because I can see.
I am too.
I mean, Amanda Nunes, her kryptonite is her gas tank, and
Yeah.
I think Holly Holm is smart enough to keep the fight,
Yeah.
on the outside and make Amanda work for her punches and get her tired, or at least dirty box her.
At least frustrate her.
Yeah, and then I can see in the second and third round, her mix it up from body shots or feint and land a head kick or something to either knock her down or something. But I'm leaning towards Holly Holm more than I am.
And in the main card, you have a main event. Jones versus Santos for the light heavyweight title. Most people I would say are picking Jones to just blow through Santos. But I think it's going to be a little bit more competitive. I like to think of it as being a little bit more competitive.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I agree that John Jones is going to win. I don't see there being that much of a difference. I mean, that much of a disadvantage for Santos. I mean, he has power. John Jones has that with guys with power, but this is two guys fighting with 4-ounce gloves.
Yeah.
And any punch can knock any man out. And so for Santos, which is an impossible task, all he has to do is land that punch.
Yeah. Just catch him. I mean,
I'll never just kind of fire like that, but
yeah. And Santos is a scary, big, athletic dude.
I want to see Walker and Jones go at it. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I would love to see Santos versus Walker. I just think, I don't know.
That'd be a fun fight.
I know. I think this fight in a long time, I've been a little bit more like hesitant to say that Jones is going to be just a clear winner. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think who's his last few fights like Jones? He had Gus.
Gustafson was his last one, and then before that he fought against Anthony Smith.
Yeah, Anthony Smith, which I figured he was probably gonna beat anyway, but it was gonna be competitive.
And Alex, that was the second.
Yeah, Cormier, Owen St. Preux, Teixeira, Cormier before Teixeira. Obviously, there's a big timeline gaps. Yeah. This is probably I think
this is his toughest fight out of the three. I think.
Out of especially recently, out of Anthony Smith, Alexander, and Thiago Santos, I think Santos is probably going to be his toughest go. This is going to test him, I think.
Yeah.
Unexpected ways. I think like the angles and the power of Santos that he likes to throw his punches in.
I think too, like those
size,
those unassuming guys are the most dangerous.
Yeah, and he's Brazilian. It's got to count a little bit more for something.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it throws a little bit more, odds in his favor. I think just being Brazilian.
Yeah. You already marked a badass if you're Brazilian.
Yeah. And so I think just looking at Jones's record in the last, however many years, this is going to be a big test for him. This is one of the biggest, I have to say, he's beaten a lot of veterans. I would say Gustafson, Anthony Smith, Owen St. Preux are like the guys that were like age-wise,
somewhere in their prime.
Somewhere in their prime, like not former champions, just guys in the division that made their way up. There's not that many of them in Jones's resume. He's got a bunch of big names and former champions.
But a lot of those former champions that he beat were
retired
past their prime.
Yeah, I think they're all like towards the end of their prime, most of them, and past a lot of them. Like
Rampage and Shogun.
And he's not the young guy anymore.
Yeah.
Back then he was the young guy destroying all these these veterans. I'm not saying that he's gonna lose, but I think it's gonna be an interesting
A closer
fight.
fight than what most people think.
I think it's gonna be interesting. Or Jones is gonna go out there and just fucking just put it to him,
Yeah.
trip him, take him down, elbow him, and then call it a wrap in like a round. Yeah,
That I can see that happening too.
I guess,
But I mean, the most important thing is that who knows, and this Saturday night we'll find out.
yeah. This has a little bit of a unknown.
It suspends your disbelief a little bit.
Something out of like something could happen in this fight that people are just going to be like talking about Monday morning.
Yeah,
I could see that happening.
and honestly, I hope that happens.
Yeah, it's yeah, because imagine if he loses this fight, it derails all his future plans. It derails the Cormier potential rematch. It derails his
Him
move
going to
into heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps him in light heavyweight for a little while longer.
Yeah,
It throws a wrench in his 2019 plans.
and it kind of opens up that 205 division.
Yeah, if he beats Santos at 205, you know, we obviously you have Rockhold there, you have Weidman there. Would be fun matchups this year if they can make that happen.
Yeah.
I would like to see that happen.
I don't want to see Weidman fighting anymore, to be honest. I think he should just walk away.
And I would like to see Jones and Luke Rockhold towards the end of the year.
I
this
agree.
year. But that's if Jones gets past Santos, and if not, he has all these like potential matchups, these very fun, interesting matchups, heavyweight, light heavyweight. But if Santos could derail all of that this weekend,
has there been any talk of his positive steroids for this fight?
No, probably. No picograms, no nothing. We have not yet.
Okay,
we'll find out
soon.
Yeah, no picograms yet. Any highlights from the press conference of the matchups coming up? Interesting stuff. You had Whitaker, Adesanya. You had Daniel Cormier, Stipe. You had Khabib, Poirier. You had Holloway, Frankie. Anything?
I'm really excited for the Israel Adesanya and Whitaker.
Yeah.
That's my fight from all those guys that are highlighted. Just because Frankie Edgar, I think he's in his tail end of his career. I mean, there's a huge size difference between him and Holloway. I think Dustin and Khabib, there's some intrigue there. I just don't see Poirier getting past Khabib's wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously there's an intrigue in that fight. DC and Stipe, we've seen it before. It's a 50-50 with those two guys. I think having Israel, fight for a title against Whitaker, that gets me up the most.
Yeah.
And that's the one I'm most excited
for. That's the fight I'm most excited about. It'd probably be Israel Whitaker.
Probably Holloway and Max. I mean Max and Edgar.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm interested. I don't know. I think I'm more the one I see as being more competitive. I don't know. Or the Whitaker and Israel and the Cormier and Stipe. Those I see more competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And the rematch and then this build up with Israel and Whitaker. It's gonna be
because he's really poking at Whitaker, and I haven't seen Whitaker talk trash before, and he's making him talk trash, which just makes it kind of fun.
It is. So I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to that. Obviously I was looking at the size differences. Max is a lot bigger than Frankie, but that's obviously never really bothered Frankie too much. Khabib and Poirier. Poirier was bigger. Had that bigger feel over Max in their fight, but Khabib and him looked fairly even in size, and actually Khabib is just like a big guy.
He is.
I've never seen Khabib. I've seen Khabib in person. It's just
remember I think we were at the LFA, well, formerly LFA.
Yeah,
he was cornering somebody,
but he didn't seem like a gigantic guy, huh?
He didn't.
But like when he's up against some of these fighters, it's like he looks huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cormier, Stipe looked big, looked more fuller, looked like a heavyweight in this face-off. Didn't before. He looked a lot smaller than Stipe the first time around. Whitaker looked good. Obviously, he has a size disadvantage against Israel. Striking technical difference against Israel is a little bit different, but it's going to be an interesting fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a true test for both fighters.
I agree.
I guess we should do. I know we went over the card already, but fight picks: Chiesa versus Sanchez.
I like Diego.
I like Diego too.
Yeah,
I do. Blackwood's Rockhold.
I'm gonna go for Rocco because I want him and Jones to fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Rockhold too. I think he'll look good this time around. Askren versus Jorge Masvidal.
I'm going to Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah, my heart says Jorge. I'm gonna go with Jorge because I always bet for that guy. But Askren, I can see him just grinding him out for 3 rounds. So
that could be a possibility.
Yeah. Amanda Nunes, Holly Holm.
Holly Holm.
I'm gonna go with Holly Holm too. I say she takes a decision.
Yeah.
Jones versus Thiago Santos.
I can't bet against Jones. I'm gonna pick Jones.
I'm gonna go Jones too. I mean, but if you wanted to bet money, Thiago Santos, I know is not too far of
it's probably gonna be your safest bet to win money, because it's a possibility.
And I think Santos is an underdog, Holly's an underdog, Jorge's an underdog.
We should call Vegas.
Yeah, you can put some money in all 3 of those. I think you might. They're not bad, especially Santos and actually.
But I'm curious to see how that line will change on fight night, because they usually almost do.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what they are at now. But all right, we are done. Another one in the books. James is going on vacation for a week.
Yeah, so probably no episode next week.
No episode next week. We'll get one out as soon as we can. Tell them where you're headed. Where you're headed?
I'm going to Seattle, and then flying to Seattle Monday morning. I'll probably see you at your hotel,
mm-hmm.
and then we'll be there for a couple of days. Driving to Vancouver, visit some state parks out there, eat some good food. Then go to Calgary, the home of Bret the Hitman Hart. Try to find the Hart House. Probably do some state parks there too as well, and check out the downtown scene.
Not bad.
Hopefully I can come back into America.
Yeah. Get some Canadian stuff while you're there. Some Canadian swag.
Tim Hortons, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you guys are interested, just follow me on Instagram. You can see my crazy. I'm not crazy. You can see me in Canada.
See where his travels take him.
In Washington.
Yeah.
Ground Fighters 101.
Happy post 4th of July.
Right,
it was a good one.
It was. Warzone.
Warzone where we live. Warzone.
Yeah.
Other than that, see you guys soon.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Enjoy the fights. Great fights. I can't wait to come back and talk about it all with you guys. And thanks again for listening. Follow us on our social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all under the MMA Complex. Buy a shirt for you or your friends or something. And if you guys are on iTunes, rate the show 5 stars. It'll help the show get noticed. Well, see you guys in a couple of weeks. Until then, enjoy your fights. Enjoy the week.